All right, and I wanted to wrap up by asking, you guys have been working on this for a long time, talked to a lot of people. Is there any one moment that will stick with you?
Yeah, sure. One of my stories was to take a look at how it's affecting one city, and this could have really been any city in Maine or town in Maine, but we chose Sanford, and so we looked at many different ways that it affected people, and one of the things that really, two things that really stuck out to me in doing that is there's a cleaning service that a city councilman, Fred Smith, owns, and they go out and they clean out foreclosed homes or people who have been evicted. And was noticing over the last couple of years that more and more cases were involving drugs, and the cleaners would go in there and find evidence of drugs. So we went with them on one of them, and sure enough, the place was just trashed, and they found buckets filled of discarded needles, a scale to sell drugs. Underneath the mattress there was probably about a dozen hypodermic needles, burn marks all over the place, evidence that there were kids there. It was just really sad just to see that you could tell that had really destroyed that family, and hopefully they're getting help, but we don't know. And just another little aside, during that same story, we went to one of the streets where there's having some of these big problems, and we walked down the street. It was middle of winter, really cold, snowy. There were just people wandering around outside, just staggering around, glassy-eyed. The person I went with, who was in recovery, went with me, and she told me that these are all people who are definitely addicted to either heroin or prescription opioids, and it was just really, you could see, the lost hope,
I think for me, there were so many, but there was a woman who I interviewed up in Stetson, outside of Bangor, and she lost two of her children to overdose, one in 2013 and one in 2015. And as we talked, she explained her anger about, knowing she knew in both instances who had sold her daughter and her son these drugs that killed them. Small town up there, everybody kind of knows. And so she was able to find out, I think, who killed her son based on the text messages that he had been sending to his dealer before he went and got his last dose, as it turned out. And, she was so angry, she made it a point to go find these people. And one of the guys that she knew had been arrested for drug trafficking, and she knew his name, and she knew when he was going to be in court to be sentenced for this drug trafficking charge. And so she went, and she was going to confront him in court. As it turns out, she didn't do that. She didn't speak in court, but the young man said, if he wanted to talk to her, they could speak in the side room. And, she went in there just, full of anger and rage and wanting to confront this young man who killed her son. And, she said she got there and he was just a kid, just like her son. And she got this wave of compassion that I just was struck by how compassionate somebody could be looking across the table at somebody who was responsible largely for her son's death. And she said when she walked out of that room, she gave the kid a hug, and that still sticks with me.